Now at 6:30, we have the latest details on the Paris terrorist attacks. The details from CBS News coming up.
And around a dozen Kentucky students are in France this morning. The details on their conditions, plus local reaction from here in the United States.
WKYT News starts now with breaking news.
Good morning. Thanks so much for joining us. Our top story this morning, news that has shocked the world. More than 100 are dead after 7 coordinated attacks in Paris Friday night.
And news is just constantly still rolling into our newsroom, working to get it to you as we get it. This is the first time since the Second World War that the city of Paris was under a curfew last night. Now military and security forces across Europe are on high alert. We've just learned that ISIS has claimed responsibility for the attacks. CBS's Craig Boswell reports.
Terrorists launched a series of bloody attacks through Paris. The worst carnage was at the Bataclan concert hall, where gunmen took hostages and killed more than 100. Witnesses say the attackers were in civilian clothes without masks. A band from Palm Desert, California was performing at the time of the attack. At least one member of the band escaped and said terrorists flooded in through multiple doors. Witnesses say the attackers threw explosives and shot at the crowd inside. Gunmen also opened fire on diners inside a French restaurant, killing at least 11 people. American tourist Maddie Young was eating nearby and was hustled to the basement.
There were police outside the restaurant. So after a little while, they locked the restaurant after we found out there were more people dead and hostages.
2 explosions rocked North Paris near the soccer stadium where France was playing Germany.
When I looked up to the sky after I heard that loud bang, there were no fireworks, and that's when I knew it had to be something pretty serious.
President Francois Hollande was quickly evacuated from the stadium. He went on television to declare a state of emergency and took the unprecedented step of closing the country's borders. President Obama pledged his support.
It's an attack not just on the people of France, but this is an attack on all of humanity.
Police believe there were at least 8 attackers and that all are dead. Craig Boswell, CBS News, Washington.
Just horrific video there.
It's just awful.
Now, people across the United States with loved ones in France were on edge last night, not knowing if the ones they loved were okay.
And around a dozen Kentucky students that we know of are in France this morning. WKYT's Mark Barber is at the live desk this morning with reaction here in the United States. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Sean. It really is a terrifying situation that created a lot of concern for those Asbury University students who are studying in Paris. We're told that they were all in their dorms just a few miles away from where those attacks happened. Thankfully, the university says they are all safe this morning. Now, after the explosions went off in Paris, the U.S. responded, and this is the message that we sent them. Take a look now at the One World Trade Center lit in the colors of the French flag. The message of support all the more poignant because of where it's coming from. 14 years ago, our trade centers in New York were hit by terrorists. So this country understands all too well the pain of these Parisian attacks. In New York, the city that has been targeted before, the NYPD's counterterrorism unit is standing guard over the French embassy, New York landmarks, and other diplomatic posts this morning.
This is a heartbreaking situation, and obviously those of us here in the United States know what it's like. We've gone through these kinds of episodes ourselves. And whenever these kinds of attacks happened, we've always been able to count on the French people to stand with us. They have been an extraordinary counterterrorism partner, and we intend to be there with them in that same fashion.
Now this morning you can see several cities standing in support with Paris this morning. New York is not the only one. You're taking a look there at Seattle. They've lit a bridge there in the colors of the French flag. And right there you can see San Francisco there. They've lit their city hall with those French colors to be in solidarity with those French victims. From the live desk, Mark Barber, WKYT.
Thank you so much, Mark. Yeah, the President Hollande saying this is an act of war. And now we have news on the airport there in Paris.
Yeah, and well, this is actually in London at Gatwick Airport. Of course, the entire continent is going to be on heightened alert after these attacks. And according to CBS News, a terminal at the airport south of London was closed after they found a suspicious article. They said they evacuated that terminal as a precaution. That's about all we know on that at this point. Still a whole lot of information rolling into our newsroom. Still trying to make sense of all it and figure out what the future holds. Switching over to local news now. We need to do a check of the weather. Let's check in with Mike Linden over in the First Alert Weather Center.
Good morning, Sean and Michelle. Things are chilly this morning. In fact, some of the coldest temperatures in southeastern Kentucky recorded so far this morning, and that is for the season as a whole. In central Kentucky, Lexington at 32, Madison County 34, but quite a few spots are sub-freezing. That includes Frankfort, Danville, London, Pulaski County, all at 27, 28 degrees. A chilly start nonetheless for this morning. Defender Radar Network not showing us anything. It's going to be a sunny day out there today. A wonderful looking Saturday despite this cold start to it so far. And once we get past this weekend, though, that's where we shift gears in a big way. A storm system gets here Monday into Tuesday and stays with us through most of the week, which could bring near 1.5 inches of rain when all is said and done. I'll take you on the path of that storm and show you where we expect to see the heavy rain and the winds coming up.
Mike, thank you. Family, friends, and co-workers are remembering John Mackey. He's that Jessamine County paramedic who died days after being hit by a car. Hundreds came out to Mackey's funeral in Nicholasville yesterday. Mackey died on Monday after he was hit by a car last week. His brother and sons were among the family members that spoke at his funeral yesterday.
I especially love that he was able to donate an eye, a single eye. I see this as John's last joke, as I imagine it going to someone who must have recently heard his mother yelling out, "Don't do that, you'll put your eye out."
The family says they are happy that John can continue saving lives as an organ donor. Meanwhile, help continues to pour in for Mackey's family. A Lexington business wants to make sure his family stays warm this winter. Mackey had been trying to repair his home's heating and AC system before he died. So on Monday, Fayette Heating and Air will go to their home in Jessamine County to install a brand new heating system.
It's just something we can do. This is what we do every day, and it's just something that we can give back to the community. And I can't imagine losing a child and losing, even though he was a grown man and had his own family, it's just very tough.
Friends created a Facebook page called Many Hands of the Mackeys to get word out about the family's needs, and a GoFundMe page has already raised more than $13,000.
We're continuing to track the case against a wanted Kentucky man arrested after he applied for a job with a Michigan Sheriff's Department. 25-year-old John Rose had a warrant for sexual abuse, sodomy, and rape charges out of Madison County, Kentucky. 2 months ago, police say he applied for a job as a jail deputy with the Wayne County, Michigan Sheriff's Department. Police say the Madison County warrant didn't make it into a national database, but someone with the Wayne County Sheriff's Department saw red flags with Rose's application and soon discovered there was a warrant for his arrest.
Kentucky Governor Steve Beshear is issuing a warning to Governor-elect Matt Bevin. In a news conference on Friday, Beshear discouraged Bevin from dismantling the state's health care insurance exchange. Bevin plans to get rid of the program known as Connect and transition to a federal exchange.
It's inconceivable to me why, just to make a partisan political statement, Kentucky would want to go backward and become the first state to decommission a successful exchange. We cannot throw away the progress we've made and start over just to make a political point. This is not about President Obama. This is not about Steve Beshear. It's about the people of Kentucky.
During a meeting with media last week, Matt Bevin called Connect a redundancy. During open enrollment, he plans to move people from state to federal level. And while the Kentucky election is over and done with, now the 2016 presidential campaign is still going on this far out already.
The Republican presidential candidate squared off earlier this week in a debate on Fox. Well, tonight, right here on WKYT, the Democrats will go head-to-head for the second time. CBS's Marley Hall has a preview of that debate.
The final touches are being made in Des Moines, Iowa, where Democrats will hold their second presidential debate Saturday night.
This is the venue for differences and distinctions.
Face the Nation host John Dickerson says all three candidates will have different goals when they take the stage.
For Hillary Clinton, the challenge is to basically hold on top of her lead, not create a big mistake. Certainly for Bernie Sanders and Martin O'Malley, who are behind in the polls, this is an opportunity in front of a big audience to make a case for their candidacy.
Bernie Sanders' case for his candidacy may have taken a hit when Democratic voters told CBS News they believe Clinton is better suited to bring change to Washington.
What does that mean?
A really fascinating finding, because one of the central things at the heart of this election on the Democratic side is who can change the system in a big way. They both believe that the system, the economic system in particular, has been tilted towards the wealthy.
The debate will be held here at Drake University, but much of the focus will be centered on Iowa voters. They will be the first to vote when they caucus in February.
Iowans are particularly interested in immigration issues, environmental issues, and certainly moving forward with an economic recovery.
Viewers across the country can submit their own questions for the candidates via Twitter using the hashtag DemDebate. Marley Hall, CBS News, Des Moines.
And
you can catch the debate right here on WKYT at 9 o'clock tonight.
6:42 now on your Saturday morning. When we come back, a vending machine filled with cars, some hungry burglars, and the cutest baby koala you'll see all day. That's ahead on WKYT this morning.
It's cold as we get our Saturday started, but there's more interesting weather on the way for the next few days. Coming up, I'll take you through the weekend and into next week.